Hello, my name's Mike. I'm the programmer here at Project All, and today I'd like to talk to you a little bit about how we build a simulation. All right, let's get started. It starts with content creation. This is where we have experts come in and give us scenarios. We write things out in paragraph form. What we want to see in videos, what emails we want to get, what voicemails we want to get, whatever it happens to be. Basically, this is where we take ideas and brainstorm and come up with stuff. It goes around through different people in the department, and then it finally solidifies into something we call content. Then it is put into a simplified form, and we put it on something called the wall. The wall is a place where we're not so much worried about the individual intricacies of the content. What we are concerned with is simply where is the content going to go over the course of a year. Once we have decided where the content is going to go and what content should go into the game, next we move on to the next phase, which is a translation phase, so to speak. And so in this phase, it's very rudimentary, but basically for every bit of content we have, we translate it into something that the computer can understand. Remember, this phase is very high level. It is very human readable. And now we need to start working it so that it becomes more computer readable. And so for a video that is talked about in the content up here, we actually start breaking it down. And we say for every video, we have characters in the video. Each character has a position, every video has a location and a dialogue. So we start breaking things down into a form of metadata. And so this list, let me change colors here. Actually, just to give you an idea, this list is thousands and thousands of lines long. So next we move on to
I think it'd be better if we had you just draw the whole thing up there first, and then you can just go from point to point.
I'd rather draw it out, if that's okay.
Just turn back around to the board like you were just drawing that line. Keep going then.
Okay. All right. Okay. So the next phase is known as the template engine. And you can imagine the template engine, let me do this. So you can imagine the template engine is taking things that look like a form that you see at a DMV or a doctor's office. It has empty spots that need to be filled with data. And the template engine takes those and fills them in. And so now what we have is a set of data that is computer readable. This particular step is very high level. It is human readable. You can pick up a sheet of paper and go, oh, that's what's going on. With this step, you can still kind of see what's going on, but there's a lot of other metadata and stuff going on that's not really relevant to you or doesn't really make any sense. Then when it gets to this phase, it is extremely low level and obtuse. It is very difficult to understand exactly what is going on. So this is very high level. Let me change my color. This is very medium level because you can still easily see what it is, and this is very low level. So at this point, it's ready to be used by a computer. And so, just to give you an idea, one paragraph, oh, I can spell, of content becomes approximately 10 lines of code here. And here you're talking about 200 lines. And so now it is ready for content injection into a database. Now, for the first time, we can actually use the data. We can query it, display it, print it, do whatever we want now. Before this step, we couldn't do anything with the actual data. So at this point, we can do what is known as QA. QA exists in two parts. The first is very low level, and it involves looking at the individual data. For example, checking to make sure that every email has the proper subject line. Every video has the proper location. Like, is very rudimentary and low level. The second kind of QA is very high level and involves actually playing through the game to make sure it displays correctly. At this point, it is ready for the game. Okay, now the game consists primarily of two main things, video and Flash content. So for the game development side of things, well, actually, let's change that. So on the game development side of things, you have many different elements of the game that have to be displayed. And so each one of them is practically its own application. So anytime there's a question, we actually have to modify the contents of the stage to show you the question. Every time there's a selection list, we have to modify the stage to actually show you the selection list and allow you to interact with it. The same thing with email, the office, the memo, the voicemail. Anything that's in the game has to be programmed and made to function, whether it's playing video or displaying a question. The next part is video. Now, there are many parts of video, whether it's costumes, makeup, set design. I mean, the list goes on and on. But the only thing that I really care about, as far as I'm concerned, is the final exported videos. And those go into a folder which can then be loaded by the game. And then all of the game development stuff makes the game what it is and what you see. So at this point, we have our content. It's gotten into the database. We can use it now. It's been QA'd. Everything's good. The game's been developed. The video has been shot. Everything is coming together. Now it is ready for the end user. And that's an ugly person. That's so much better. Okay. So here we have students, teachers, etc. Whoever wants to use it can use it at this point. Now there are other elements to this, and they are the debrief page, and the website. And the website has resources on it that you can use as a student in Project All, or you can go there to play the game. It's basically an all-purpose website. It's pretty generic. The debrief page is a special standalone page that is completely separate from the game. But it allows people to see their progress, to see how they did during the game. It shows their responses, the correct answers, the other answers that are available, and some pretty charts. So an important aspect of this at this point is the game API. And that allows a two-way communication between the game and the database. Because remember, all of our data has been pushed into the database. And so now what we have is a simple state machine. When the game first starts, it starts up and asks the server, it says, hey, I'm this user, what am I supposed to be looking at now? And the server will look through their history and say, okay, you're supposed to be watching this video now. And so it will send the information about that video to the game. And then the game will change its display the video, and start playing it. Once the video finishes, the game says, hey, server, this player finished watching this video. What do you want to do next? Oh, I want to ask them a question. So then the video goes away and a question pops up. And then the game says, well, hey, this person just answered this question, what's next? And it just keeps going back and forth. But this is what allows the game to progress. It's what allows the game to exist, technically speaking. All the game is a pretty front end. It's a facade to the game API. There is another API, which is known as the reporting API, which is for the debrief page. And that allows us to easily query things and show results in many different ways, but it's not really relevant to the game itself. So that is how you build a simulation.